Suburban culture has tried to make us all believe that a yard like this is ugly because it's densely populated with quote-unquote weeds. I admit that this kind of thinking got to me too, and I used to have a somewhat negative attitude about these plants when I saw them growing in the garden. Weeds. But I can honestly say that I'm a changed man. So, the problem was not the weeds, it was my inexperience as a gardener. See, at this point, I know exactly what we have growing in our yard, so I know all of the great benefits that these plants can provide and how to effectively control them. A weed is really just a label for any plant that's growing where you don't necessarily want it. So a dandelion, for example, is only a weed when it's in that context. Otherwise, it's nectar for bees, or it's a snack. A little bitter. It's actually the first time I've ever tried doing that, so history in the making. So, for the purpose of this video, I want to keep it simple, and I'll refer to all these plants as weeds in general, even though that's not entirely accurate. But let's start off with talking about how to control them, because that seems to be most often what people are wanting to learn about. So let's take a look at that old clip again. Okay, what do you notice about this picture? Is it A, my greasy hair, B, the fact that we used to plant veggies in rows before I built our new square-foot garden beds, C, the soil around me is bare where it should have been covered with mulch, or D, that weed was obviously loose because this was like my fourth take and I had to get the right reaction? Well, all of these things are actually true, but if you guessed that I would want to talk about C, you're absolutely right. These plants are just doing what they need to do to survive. If there's a bare patch of healthy garden soil right nearby, they will inevitably spread to that area. So the easiest, safest, and most natural way to control them is with mulch. There are many different kinds of mulch out there you can use, but for garden paths and walkways, wood chips are an excellent choice, and you can often get them for free. Check out getchipdrop.com to see if you can get a free delivery of wood chips where you live. Even with a thick layer of mulch, these plants can still be quite resilient. The mulch keeps the underlying soil moist and soft, so if something does come up, it's a bit easier to remove. Or you can just dump more mulch on top. Wood chips make it very difficult for new seed sprouts to survive because they take away nitrogen from the soil surface as they decompose. Established perennial weeds can still survive and grow through the mulch because they already have a deeper root system and access to more nutrients. But after a few years and several applications of mulch, you shouldn't see too many weeds coming up. It's good to know how to control weeds in your garden, but it's also helpful to know what they are, so you might be able to make use of their benefits. We have some very common species growing here that I'm sure many of you can recognize. The aforementioned and ubiquitous dandelion, edible, nutritious, great for breaking up compacted soils with its deep taproot. Wild violet, also edible, attracts pollinators and, along with the dandelion, is one of the first to flower in spring. And white clover, a good ground cover that's a popular forage for livestock and an excellent nitrogen fixer. I encourage you to investigate what's growing in your own yard to see if it might be something useful. You can always go to the internet or books or check out some great mobile apps out there to help you identify and learn more about any plants you encounter. All of these plants have been growing back here for quite some time, and I run the mower back here just to keep things from getting overgrown and keep it all healthy. But we've never seeded any grass or anything to try to force out these weedy species or try to achieve a perfect lawn or anything. But now we're setting up this whole new perennial garden in this area, and we've laid down all these wood chips to prepare for that. And that means that I won't have as much area to mow, but we have also taken away all of the plants that were here as a source of food and habitat for beneficial insects and wildlife. So we need to replace that with other native species in order to keep this backyard ecosystem thriving. And it will get better and better as we continue to increase diversity over the next few years. So thank you very much for watching. If you found this video to be helpful or it gave you a chuckle, please hit that thumbs up button and share the video with your friends. And if you haven't already, please subscribe for more videos like this. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time.